The church bells tolled with a heavy finality, their sound rolling across the valley like a prophecy. Every villager had gathered to witness the union promised since the hour of her birth, a union whispered about in drawing rooms, signed in ink on contracts, sealed by her family's honor. Lady Alara Whitmore had been told all her life that her destiny was carved into the marble halls of Everthorne, the ancient estate of Duke Alistair Ravenswood. She had grown up shaping her heart around that promise, practicing the grace expected of a duchess, perfecting her smile, her dance, her obedience to the weight of tradition. While other girls spoke of falling in love, she had learned that love was a luxury, not her inheritance. Her inheritance was duty, gilded chains that shone so brightly she almost forgot they were shackles. And yet, when she saw him waiting at the altar, tall, dark-haired, his presence commanding the hushed awe of every guest, her heart betrayed her. For a moment she believed the lie, the sweet one that had lulled her through childhood, that he had been hers all along. That he belonged to her as she belonged to him. But then, the doors opened again. Her younger sister, Serafina, stepped inside. The crowd gasped as though heaven itself had descended. Serafina did not walk, she floated, golden curls shimmering in the sunlight that poured through stained glass, lips as soft as rose petals, eyes wide with innocence. She wore no bridal gown, and yet the silk of her pale dress clung like a second skin, glowing brighter than Alara's heavy embroidery. And that was when Alara saw it. The flicker in the Duke's eyes. The tightening of his jaw. The moment her world cracked. He looked at Serafina as though he had just seen a miracle. And the vow he was meant to speak to Alara died on his tongue. The silence was unbearable. Alara's hands shook around her bouquet. The whispers rushed like storm winds through the pews. Is he hesitating? Someone murmured. God above, he's looking at the younger one. Alara's chest burned. The bishop cleared his throat, uncomfortable. Her father shifted in his seat, his pride already blistering. And then the Duke spoke. His voice was steady, deliberate, the voice of a man who had never once been denied anything. I cannot, he said, eyes fixed on Serafina. Forgive me, but my heart belongs elsewhere. The world shattered in an instant. Elsewhere. Alara nearly stumbled as his words pierced her like a blade. She wanted to scream, to demand what he meant, to remind him of the years of promises, the signatures inked in law, the duty he owed her. But she saw it, plain as fire, his gaze devouring Serafina, his choice made before the heavens, before God, before the ghosts of every Whitmore ancestor buried in their family crypt. Her sister's lips parted in shock. She pressed her hands to her chest as though her fragile heart might burst. My lord, she whispered. But she did not step forward. She did not deny him. And that silence was enough. The church erupted in chaos. Her mother fainted. Her father roared, leaping to his feet. Alistair, you dishonor us all. But the Duke did not waver. He strode forward, hand outstretched, not to Alara, the woman bred for him, trained for him, promised to him, but to Serafina, the younger sister who had never been shackled by duty, who had laughed freely under the same sun while Alara drilled curtsies and prayers. Alara's world crumbled, yet she stood rooted, every instinct demanding she remain the perfect daughter, the perfect lady, even as her soul screamed inside. How dare he? How dare her sister? How dare fate itself mock her so cruelly? The whispers would not fade. They would only grow, spreading across counties, across kingdoms. She was the forsaken bride, the duchess in waiting cast aside for her sister's beauty. The scandal would devour her. And in that moment, Alara knew something dangerous bloomed within her chest. Not sorrow. Not despair. Something darker. Because if she could not be the Duke's bride, she would not allow her sister to be either.